so fun.
I think this is hers.
That was so fun.
I think this is hers.
Was it working from the very beginning? All right. I totally blame Clint Russell for that. He is absolutely responsible for the audio mishaps. We apologize, but it looks like we are back to our... Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, Clint, just don't touch that, Clint. Clint, just touch that camera. Turn that camera on and off. There you go. Turn it on. And maybe you might need to take out the battery. Yes. All right. So that was
my girlfriend.
That was Clint's.
It was my girlfriend. She was on a roller coaster, and she's very beautiful. And I like her before, and I like her after. And Luke is just a hater.
She is bold and bodacious, and there's a lot to love.
Yeah, the 5 o'clock shadow just lets me know that she's like happy to see me when she gets home from work.
Yeah, that means she's fertile, right, Clint?
Yep. That's we're gonna have so many babies.
I don't want to know about that, or I don't want to see it. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings, here to the bestpoliticalshow.com with a lot of technical audio and visual difficulties. As of course, we are now finally, hopefully without any kind of other problems, we'll be live for the next 2 hours discussing all the latest and craziest news in our modern day society and discourse. As of course, there was a solar eclipse. Brazil is going after Twitter. There's a new Civil War movie coming out, and it looks like the debate between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro will actually be happening, as Benjamin Netanyahu just declared that there will be no ceasefire, but now a larger offensive in Rafah. What's going on? Well, we're going to be discussing that, plus a lot more, all for the next 2 hours, as of course you guys play a major role in getting this video out there to your friends and family members. The more viewers we get, the more high-profile guests we're going to get on the show, and we already have incredible people coming in. I have a lot of big plans for this show, and truly, with you just sharing, retweeting this broadcast, it really does mean a lot to us since we have a lot of really big goals, a lot of big aspirations. This week, we have some really incredible people coming in studio. Peter Boghossian is going to be here Wednesday. Roger Stone is going to be here Tuesday. We got two really awesome, incredible people joining us here today, as of course, you guys get to participate in the conversation. And one easy way to do that is to, of course, sign up to lukeunfiltered.com. And then by doing so, you get access to a special Telegram channel, which allows you to actually communicate with me during the show and call in and ask whatever questions you guys want in a totally unfiltered way. We're going to be taking callers in about an hour and a half from now. So if you want to call in, go to that Telegram channel as a member and let me know you want to call in, and you will soon be a part of that conversation. Also, for members of LukeUnfiltered.com, today we gave out 5 free tickets to the Minds Festival coming up in Austin, Texas on April 27th with some really awesome, incredible individuals. I don't know if enough people got the free tickets. Check out today's sponsored video, free video for the members that, of course, we are giving the contest and the tickets out that was just released a couple hours ago today. Another way to participate in the conversation is, of course, through Rumble Rants and Superchats, but we prefer you guys check out mysuperchat.com, a website that allows your Superchat to actually show up on screen and only takes a 3% service charge from the tips from the Superchats that you guys give us, as, of course, we are going to be reading those during the conversation, a conversation with some really awesome, incredible people. One of them is, of course, Andrew. Don't Walk, Run Productions. Andrew, for the people who don't know you, who are you and how would you introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. Andrew here, the best senior political analyst on YouTube. That's
very humble, just like us.
Very humble.
I like it.
Very incredible. You can find me on YouTube at Don't Walk Run, all one word. Same thing on Twitter and maybe Instagram at Don't Walk Run Productions. And you can find me on TikTok, but they have completely screwed me over. So there you go. So
they screw everyone over.
I have a video of me walking upstairs of an airplane, pretending that I'm falling down like Joe Biden, and they basically marked it as low quality content, and it's not featured on the For You page, and it's been an appeal for 3 months.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm very happy to be here. Very first time here in Miami. And Luke, thank you for your hospitality to invite me on the show.
Absolutely. Good luck with the Chi-Coms getting your account back. As, of course, another thought criminal joining us today is Josie, the redheaded libertarian. Josie, how are you? Thanks for coming back.
I'm great. Thank you. I want to say you can't make fun of Dear Leader even on TikTok. No. I'm Josie. I'm the redheaded libertarian. You can find me on X at TRHL Official. I have a show called Spaces with Josie where I interview the coolest people on the face of the planet. And I do outside media work at timcast.com. So you can head over there and become a subscriber and help support our work.
Yeah, I met Andrew through the Beanie Man, Tim Pool, as well, when you were on the show. You were there when Atlas was still a baby. You got a photo of Atlas when she was still a little pup here. We got one super chat already from Jason saying, Clint, your audio skills are about as good as your drawing skills. Get it together. Damn right, Clint, our makeshift bootleg audio engineer.
Who said that? What was his name?
Jason.
Hey, Jason, I don't appreciate your commentary, but thank you for the money. Josie, what's it feel like being the star of so many demonic calendars?
I mean, it's not
You got it behind you right there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Ashley is talk about lewd and lascivious behavior. I'm Clint Russell, host of Liberty Lockdown at Liberty LockPod on X if you want to support my work. I also co-host Tower Gang. You should never watch that. But most importantly, you should pick up your effing phone right now, go to your favorite podcatcher and search for the best political show and search for Liberty Lockdown and click subscribe on both so that you never miss an episode. We got Steph on the buttons.
Yeah, you don't want to get Clint mad. And we also have a beanie behind Josie that reads Make Beanies Great Again that we launched that I gave to Tim that he never wore.
Oh, sad, really.
Steph, we are changed on the buttons.
All right, let's just get into it. As, of course, everyone today was talking about the solar eclipse with the #1 post on Reddit Conspiracy showing a picture of it saying, just now, nothing happened. As of course, a lot of people were expecting some things to happen, and they actually kind of did. As Raw Alerts on Twitter is reporting that search results for "Why Do My Eyes Hurt?" and "My Eyes Hurt" have exploded after today's solar eclipse occurred. As there, of course, was a lot of memes. There's a lot of reports of a lot of zoo animals freaking out, going crazy, and a lot of very funny kind of pictures. One that I saw was with G Prime, who actually took one of those blue face masks and put 2 holes in it and then put it over his eyes as he was looking over the sun. Shouts out to G Prime. He's also welcome on the show as well. His art is absolutely next level. And I feel like this was exactly what was going to happen. A lot of people were making a lot of different kind of hoops and things about this, but it was eclipse. It came and went. And that's it. What do you guys make of this larger kind of hoopla and how it kind of portrays our modern day society? As of course eclipses happen, this one was a little bit different.
Well, do we have any confirmation on whether or not they flew a rocket into the sun or turned on CERN?
No, we don't have confirmation
on that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm still living on a normal timeline. Everybody else still living on a normal timeline?
Maybe we wouldn't know if it shifted though. So one of the times that CERN also was turned on was also right before the 2016 election. And a lot of conspiracy theorists believe that this was the kind of alternate universe pathway that we were put on that allowed Donald Trump to become the next president of the United States.
My theory on all of this was that that did happen. We were put on an alternate timeline. However, they needed to switch CERN back on during an eclipse in order to put things back the way they were supposed to be. Kind of like going 88 miles per hour and needing a strike of lightning with the DeLorean.
But dudes are still swimming with women in, collegiate sports, and Joe Biden's still the president.
Yep, so it didn't work.
It didn't work. Okay.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
You have to wait till 2045. Do it again.
It's not even the Berenstain Bears, like it's still that?
Still that.
Oh, man.
Well, as far as firing a rocket into the sun, I mean, this would have had to have taken place like months ago. Right?
Definitely weeks
this
ago.
This isn't like Star Trek Generations where they fire a rocket and then 10 seconds later the sun explodes.
Yeah,
like that's not, that's not how it works.
I never even understood the thesis. Like, why were they firing missiles when the eclipse happened? Does anybody know? I guess they didn't even do it.
What are you, a globetard, Andrew? How dare you?
How are those red heifers doing?
The red heifer stuff was pretty interesting because I remember covering all the stuff. There was a couple like coincidences, but there was a lot of stuff that was just kind of like literally like put together that didn't make sense at all. There was no confirmation. There was nothing that said that this was going to be happening at this exact time. Now, there are a lot of people that bring a lot of different kind of value or a lot of different meaning to this, especially in the kind of hippy-dippy spiritual world. So it was interesting to see this kind of discourse, this kind of conversation. A lot of states went on emergency kind of states where people were told, hey, just make sure you have some supplies with you because a lot of people were traveling back and forth, which kind of makes sense. This whole opportunity did provide some very interesting conversations that the corporate media automatically said was crazy conspiracy theorist. Well, I think it did kind of foment some interesting conversations, and I'm kind of happy it did because it was not as boring as life usually was, and there was something to talk about. As of course, Joe Rogan took to social media and said, I'm out here waiting on the Anunnaki. And as of right now, the Anunnaki still have not arrived from Planet X, as a lot of people have prophesied them from coming. There's also memes of Joe Biden with his special glasses looking up, and memes of Donald Trump just looking directly up into the sun without any kind of special glasses or protective gear at all, which was pretty funny to see. So the memes were on point. The conversation was pretty interesting. And overall, I say fascinating time to be alive, where we're seeing such different kind of tangents, such different kind of discourses all in front of us that are pretty interesting.
But I think for the most part that people aren't going to even look at any of that. It's just kind of a moment where everybody where the general population, the people who aren't on Twitter, the people who aren't following these little conspiracy theories can just go, hey, the sun and the moon are doing a thing that hasn't been done for like 40 years. And hey, let's all look at it and then kind of, forget about everything else that's terrible in the world.
I hope so.
And that's it. It only lasted a couple hours, and now we're back to arguing about
being miserable.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like well, I want to talk about the next big conspiracy thing, though. I need my conspiracy
No,
hit
it's
here.
just
I
the
need
sun
something.
and the moon.
No, you damn globetrot.
We knew it was going to happen.
No, I was watching these viral TikToks, and there was this dude who was like, he was going through all sorts. It was like 9 minutes. I was totally riveted. But at the end of it, he's saying it's like, forces and gravity and physics, and this is why earthquakes will erupt during the eclipse. And he was so confident. He's like, I am confident that this is going to happen, and nothing happened. And look, I love a good, ridiculous, totally fake conspiracy theory as much as the next guy. But at the same time, I do feel like these stories get like juiced up and they go super viral. And then what it really does is it kind of defangs the viable conspiracy theories that are out there that we all know and love.
I mean, look at what happened in 2012. Oh, the Mayan calendar. Oh, it's going to be crazy. And then they made movies about it. And it's like, nothing happened.
I don't know.
And everybody knew nothing was going to happen.
Or in 2000, they had that cyber threat that everyone was
Y2K.
worried about
Well,
because the clocks were going to be turned to zero and things were going to explode.
And it's like, because we didn't put code in it, the right code.
Sorry, Josie, go
The
ahead.
theory about 2012 was that the world as we know it will end, and that happened. That happened in America with the NDAA of 2013, where they lifted the Propaganda Act, and suddenly we have they lifted the domestic dissemination ban, and suddenly we have propaganda freely flowing through our country again, and that happened in 2013.
That was the apocalypse.
That was apocalyptic for America.
Luke, please do pull up that thing I sent you in the Telegram. Trust me, it's worth.
I'm
worth
pulling
looking
it
at.
up right now. As of course, Steph, you had a very interesting conversation with Andrew just before this show went on. And
lies.
I just want everybody at home to know that Josie and I looked straight at it. I feel totally fine. I feel energized.
Yep.
I don't know about you, Josie.
Yeah, my pineal gland is like on fire right now.
That's right.
I'm disappointed you guys didn't behold town during the eclipse, because that's the next kind of epic move that I expected a lot of people to make here. That's what I did.
Well,
I think that's what all the cool kids were
Your
doing.
beehole.
I'm not gonna tweet it out, but like maybe I did. Maybe.
It's hard to tell from that image that you released, but
But look, you don't need an eclipse to look at the sun. You can do it every day.
That's
right. Just be ahead of the trends.
Ideally, wake up, stare right at it until you can't handle it anymore, and get to work.
no, please do not listen to these unprofessional goobers here.
I saw a bunch of memes where everybody was saying that they were looking into the sun, and then the next day they were filing for
blind.
disability.
Exactly. For the record, I'm kidding. Don't look at the sun. This is terrible
Yeah,
advice.
if you tell people to look at the sun, they're going to put a suggested community note on your
I
tweet.
know. We're just having fun, for the love of God. Can we
Yeah.
just joke?
Steph, what's going on with the hippy dippy community that you're in tune with? What's the pulse here? What's the 411 with them?
You gotta sun gaze.
No,
You gotta do it.
no, don't do it. Don't do it, guys. Please.
Early in the morning
my
and late in
God.
the evening, at
No.
sunrise and at sunset.
No.
Those are the hours.
No. There's a bunch of breatharians that are probably up in arms today that are not going to be happy with what I have to say, but don't do that. Please be responsible with your eyesight. You only have 2 eyes. Doesn't mean you get to, of course, let them go.
The truth was hidden from you for years, ladies and gentlemen. If you stare at the sun every day, you will see the truth. It's the only path.
Don't do it.
Wait,
the
hold
path
on.
to God.
The breatharians are those the people that think that they can live off of air?
Yes.
Okay, and that's it.
Yes.
And water,
and
right?
And a number of them have been caught sneaking candy bars in the bathroom under documentaries that when they were filmed for longer than 2 to 3 days. I remember watching a documentary about these breatharians and these individuals that are like, I don't need to eat. I get sun from not eating. And nope. They heard the candy wrapper kind of unfolding when the person was in the bathroom, and they were taking a long time in the bathroom. And then they found the candy bar wrappers, and they're like, yeah, you're not really a breatharian. You should be careful with what and who you listen to on social media. As of course, these things are interesting, but as we told you here on this particular broadcast, probably nothing is going to happen. We talked about a lot.
Probably.
Yeah. We talked about some of the kind of coincidences. We talked about some of the weird kind of theories out there. There probably are, let's just be honest here, there probably are some like weird occultic like celebrities and politicians that were doing some kind of practice that could be attributed to the eclipse and to them some kind of greater meeting. But regardless of that, let's just get to the real news and what's actually happening in our society. As of course, there is a major legal battle unfolding right now in Brazil between the government there, its Supreme Court, and of course, Twitter and Elon Musk, as Reuters is reporting that a Brazilian judge just opened up an investigation into Elon Musk after he refused to block a certain number of accounts from Brazil on his social media platform. The Daily Mail writes, now Elon Musk is caught up in a Brazil investigation into, quote, guess what? Spreading fake news after ex-billionaire said he would defy judges' orders to block some accounts in a bid to stem fake news. Now, does the Brazilian government actually care about fake news enough to destroy an entire major social media platform that a lot of people are using in their particular country? As of course, it's not about fake news. It's about control of the discourse, control of the conversation. And what the government of Brazil has been doing has been a very heavy-handed kind of approach against political dissidents and political opponents in their country that they're trying to stomp out and stop the speech of. Who are these accounts? What are they saying? We still don't know exactly what's going on here or who is being questioned. But as we know, Rumble faced a very similar legal battle against Brazil. They faced a very similar battle against France, as a lot of governments want total control of information, and it looks like the government of Brazil is going to be going all out to make sure that they are able to control the conversation no matter what the consequences. What do you guys think will happen next year, as this is a very interesting case, a case that I think is worth discussing?
Well, I pulled up the fundamental rights and guarantees on the Brazilian constitution because that was part of Elon Musk's argument, was that this is unconstitutional. So I found two sections of it where it is unconstitutional. It says Section 9, the expression of intellectual, artistic, scientific, and communications activity is free independently of censorship or license. And then, what's this Roman numeral? 17, free association for lawful purposes is fully guaranteed. Any paramilitary association is forbidden.
So basically, they're just going to argue that it's not legal speech. That's what they're going to say. But here's my frustration. By the way, we had Monarch, who was like the Joe Rogan of Brazil, in studio with us a couple months ago. He had, sorry, Luke.
Yeah, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, he had been essentially forced to flee and deplatformed everywhere, debanked. His whole life was thrown into disarray. So this is not a new thing. What I'm most disturbed by is that it's pretty universal outrage from Americans when it comes to this story. But so many people were still on board with the federal government dictating that TikTok either be divested from or ultimately forced to stop serving American consumers. And it's like, this is the same thing. In fact, it's even more broad because they're asking for control to ban, thousands of accounts or whatever it is, whereas the American government was essentially pushing to have the entire platform potentially taken down. And no one seemed to, or not no one, but it should have been universal is my point.
Well, it's pretty clear. Governments want control of speech. And here in the United States, we want to make sure that the social media accounts that are controlled by the intel agencies get the access to, of course, be available to the American people. If there's foreign governments coming in, foreign governments will, of course, use it for their own personal benefit because that's what governments do. You give a government a little bit of power and authority, they, of course, will be using all of that for themselves and expanding their reach of power over the citizenry. And it's pretty clear. Information, freedom of speech is critically important towards a free society that in many times is the enemy of the state that is trying to control everyone's lives. That's what's at stake here, and the developments here are pretty interesting, as of course Elon Musk has pinned a retweet on his Twitter page, specifically with Michael Schellenberger, describing how Elon Musk is now standing in the way of totalitarianism. And I would have to agree with him. This is a major battle. There's many things at stake here. There's talks of shutting down Twitter from the entire country of Brazil, as already other social media platforms like Rumble, they're banned in places like France, and I think they're also partly banned in Brazil. We have a comment here by the CEO of Rumble that we're going to be reading here in a little bit here. But Elon Musk said, quote, "I say, tell me, Alexandre, is the information in the room with us now?" As of course, that's the excuse that the state is using. But if there is disinformation out there, it should be countered with good information. As of course, bad ideas should be countered with good ideas. Shutting down bad ideas only festers and makes those bad ideas grow. As of course, that's what kind of human psychology teaches us. If you say you can't talk about this, people are going to want to talk about it more. And this is not about hindering disinformation, because if it was, the state, if it really wanted to address things that they saw as false, would provide evidence, would be transparent, would be accountable, would actually be respectful of people's opinions and thoughts, hear people out, and provide a counter perspective that people could have discernment with and decide, yeah, that's actually some bunk information that isn't really truthful at all. This is the major issue that I think people are missing here. It's the issue of discernment. Are human beings able to think critically and have discernment? I think so. Governments are saying, no, we need to control everything you guys see and hear. And that to me is a ridiculous idea that gives the state essentially a power and authority over you like God, that is essentially pushing thought control and mind control over its population, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, this Brazilian Bill of Rights has some of the best property rights laws that I've ever seen written down, and very clear in a way that, you know, a 2-year-old can understand them. But going on further with more of the rights that would be violated is 27. It says the executive right of use, publication, reproduction of works rests upon the authors and is transmissible to the heirs for the time that the law shall establish. But what they're going to use against Elon Musk is 19. And it says associations may only be compulsorily dissolved or have their activities suspended by a judicial decision, and a final and unappealable decision is required in the first case. So that's what they'll use against all of these other rights that they're violating, saying, well, we just said so.
Yeah, and that's been the argument for a lot of legal arguments here in the United States. Oh, the Hunter Biden laptop. Yeah, that's fake news. That's Russian disinformation because we said so.
We said so.
Donald Trump's connected to the Russian government. The Russian government colluded and helped him be elected because we said so. And then there's inquiries and investigations. And then everyone who says, wait, we need some evidence here, they're automatically called fake news. They're called disinformation, and they're censored and demonetized like we were. Back when Donald Trump was first elected, many people forget, we were directly attacked by the Washington Post and many other NGOs and government institutions and organizations because we said, hey, if you're going to tell us that there was some kind of Russian collusion here, we're going to need some evidence. We're going to need some proof. These intelligence agencies that pull the strings of big tech social media don't have the best track record when it comes to being honest with us. So we're going to need at least something that we could critically see and analyze in order to jump to any kind of further conclusions here. And we were right all along, even though we were desperately attacked for not believing in their initial lies all the way back in 2016. And we're seeing this battle carried out not just in the United States, but in Brazil, where there's a lot of very interesting comparisons to what's happening here in the United States. As of course, there also was a storming of a government building. There also was the loss of the election of a populist right-wing leader in that country, a leader that fled the country, a leader that was previously also stabbed and attacked and almost lost his life. There's a lot of civil strife inside of Brazil that's kind of very similar to what's happening here inside of the United States.
Well, since it's the Supreme Court in Brazil that's making all these orders to remove accounts, there's no other court past that to appeal. You can't appeal past the Supreme Court, right? I mean, so they're basically just going to say, well, our word is bond and that's it, and there's nothing you can do about it. What do you think the end result's going to be? Do you think that Elon kind of putting his foot down and saying, we're not going to do it, and if we have to get rid of Twitter in Brazil, then we'll do it? Or do you think that it's going to have an effect on the populace and they're going to fight back? And I
know, looking back when Elon had this conversation, when there was like Germany, you get things like, oh, German law, this might be a violation. You get that sent to your email over a tweet sometimes. And he was like, well, at the time, and I don't know if this has changed, but at the time he said, we can give free speech to some of the people. that's our choice. Give free speech to some of the people or give free speech to none of the people.
Right.
So that's why he was abiding by, the German rules for a while. I don't know if he still is. I don't know if he has the same views still. I don't know if he's like, no, I'm not gonna bend at all now. I'm not sure what his position is now.
Well, 4 hours ago, Elon Musk tweeted, X supports the people of Brazil without regards to political affiliation. Does Judge Alexandre, and he actually tagged the minister of the Supreme Court of Brazil in the post here, that probably is getting a lot of interesting replies to his tweets on social media, as of course he also retweeted a video from Glenn Greenwald, who also lives in Brazil, that was ranting about this very specific issue. And Elon Musk could have very easily just said, hey, you guys want these accounts taken down? Yeah, sure. We'll just take it down. No one will know. We won't make a big stink about this. We'll just go on and we will continue to do our business like we usually do, because that's what a lot of other big tech social media companies do. The FBI comes to them and they're like, we need to censor Zero Hedge because they're talking about some gain of function work that was done in Wuhan that isn't convenient to us. So this is disinformation. You need to censor their account. And all the other big tech social media companies did that. They did it on Twitter. They did it on Facebook. They did it on Google. And Elon Musk could have complied. Could have been like, yeah, we could keep the operation going. We could keep making money in Brazil. Brazil's a major economy. It's a major country with a lot of people. A lot of people use Twitter in Brazil, specifically when it comes to the kind of populist circles, and denying it to the whole entire population would be a major big deal. It would be a major blow to Twitter and its monetary kind of constraints and its monetary resources that it has available to people. Now, some people are in the comment section are saying that the people of Brazil all need VPNs. I definitely do recommend VPNs, because it's also interesting. You could travel around the world through the VPNs and you could see what's blocked and what's not blocked, and different kind of algorithms for different kind of countries and different kind of people. It's fascinating, especially if you're looking at particular content. A lot of people use VPNs in order to watch Netflix shows that are not available in their country, but available in a different country. But people in China use it just to be able to actually see the internet, which a vast portion of it is denied to them, as China has also launched a lot of wars on VPNs and has criminalized the use of them in many instances and made them very difficult to get. Now, will the entire population of Brazil get VPNs? No, it's just an extra step that is not going to be logical. A lot of people don't have the kind of knowledge, don't want to spend extra money on VPNs, and they probably won't be doing it. And if the Brazilian government shuts down the offices and shuts down Twitter on to all of its country, it's going to be a kind of major blow now that Elon Musk is standing up against, which, again, we've been critical of some of the things he's been doing, but shouts out to him for actually making a good stand against an important issue, allowing individuals to actually have free speech in a country that is becoming more and more totalitarian.
There is actually a video put out by account Doge Designer, and he did a walkthrough on, it's very easy to get a VPN. Here's how you do it. And he did it right on his, like a video of it. And it took 30 seconds to get a VPN. And then Elon retweeted it and said, it's very easy to get one of these. And I am like just a moron with tech, and I can figure it out. So.
Yeah, no, VPNs are super easy, but the issue is that, it's. I'm sure they would migrate this or evolve the law the same way that the U.S. government was trying to make it so that it was essentially illegal for the hosts to continue to use or have servers that have TikTok's data on it. It's like, well, they'll probably do that in Brazil too. They're going to make it impossible for you to get it from the app stores. They're going to just make it as challenging as possible, and really all it requires is that, say, 60% of the Brazilian users stop using it. Well, that's enough that a lot of people that otherwise would continue to use it will just say, well, people aren't on here anymore, because that's how social media apps ultimately die. So this is really dangerous. And this is why I've railed against the TikTok ban so hard, is that not that I don't even have a TikTok account. I don't have any affinity for the app itself, but it's just like, do we want to be North Korea? Do we want to be China? Like, why are we even having this discussion that we're going to have the federal government dictating what type of social media we're allowed to use? How about you parent your kids? This is so frustrating to me that, like, the alleged conservatives are the ones that are leading the charge for this, all because CCP is scary. It's like,
Well, it's not
Man
just
up.
that. It's also the state of Florida and Texas that passed free speech limitations as well when it comes to criticizing a particular country. That is egregious. Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire even made an entire video about the free speech restrictions in these particular states, all done by right-wing politicians that, of course, want to limit people's ability to talk freely about issues, which, of course, there shouldn't be any limitations on. Again, we're adults here. We could discuss ideas like adults. If they're bad ideas, we could discuss them with good ideas. It's that frickin' simple. Let the truth be transparent here. Let it be known to the general public. And that is terrifying for a lot of people in charge because they rule on an entire bed of lies. And they know once those lies are exposed, their whole power structure crumbles. They know that if people find out that the game is rigged, that they're being screwed over, that they're being lied to, that horrible things are being done in the name of fighting for freedom and democracy, when they find out that their tax dollars are being taken away and siphoned away and given to rich oligarchs with Adidas tracksuits, they're going to start to ask some questions that are inconvenient to the state, and that's why the state is saying no. We want to control what people can think, and that to me is just absolutely ridiculous and frustrating to say the least.
Well, it kind of became the new racist. Like, all of a sudden everything was anti-Semitic. For instance, any questioning of anything was anti-Semitic. And it just in the same way, it was the right's version of this is racism, and it would shut people up. It was to silence them, and we saw that switch over to.
But then both of those terms kind of lost their meaning. Like the term racist and anti-Semitic doesn't really mean anything anymore. It used to when people were actually racist and anti-Semitic, they were kind of called out. But now when people are called those kind of terms, you kind of got to wonder, okay, what kind of power structure did they piss off? Who did they anger? What kind of mob is using this term in order to stifle any kind of legitimate conversation here? And that's sadly where we're at. And these people are doing the biggest disservice against the people who actually are victims of anti-Semitism and racism.
And you can spin anything to say, oh, well, that's, you're wrong in your thinking. Obviously, what you said, it's at least a little racist. It's questioning what's happening in Israel or questioning anything, could be spun, like, oh, it's a dog whistle, even though you didn't say anything. Everything's a dog. Anything that Trump says.
Well, I gotta tell you guys about this Shapiro tweet from just an hour ago. It's so nutty. I can't even believe it's real. So let me read it to you. He says, the Biden administration is now effectively preparing to make aid to Israel contingent on unspecified changes to Israel policy, which means that Israel can do little or nothing to appease the White House. Hamas is now in control of the Biden administration. That's how he ends it. I mean, that is so crazy.
That's just a little bit sensationalistic.
A little hyperbolic. The word is hyperbole, yes.
I actually have another video of Ben Shapiro that's going to start this conversation on Rumble that we should probably save, as of course, YouTube isn't really that friendly towards these kind of larger conversations. So we're going to host them on Rumble, that also fought the Brazilian government recently, as Chris Pavlovsky took to social media and declared, quote, Rumble led the way in defying Brazil's censorship regime. Every platform should follow and shut off in protest. Most platforms were willing to do it for net neutrality. Why not for human right, freedom of expression?
Preach.
Yeah, and I would agree with Chris Pavlovsky, who released a statement here saying back in December of 2023 that Rumble will not be bullied by foreign governments, specifically the governments of Brazil, that were going after them for allowing people to have free speech on their particular platform. So shouts out to Chris Pavlovsky of Rumble. Shouts out to Elon Musk, because they are wagering a lot of their monetary assets when it comes to fighting for everyone else's speech. And that's important.
So what did Rumble end up doing? Can anybody in Brazil use Rumble? Did they just fight it and win? What ended up happening?
Someone in the comment section will have to kind of update me on that, because I haven't been following the story.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if Elon
Chris
is using this as a guideline for how they're going to fight, or if Rumble just said, no, we're not dealing with you guys. I'm not sure.
So I think there might have been a possibility that Rumble was shut off in protest for a little bit. I don't know if Rumble is still available for people of Brazil. We have a Rumble rant from PDX Leroy saying, do you think the USA will make a VPN illegal? There's talk that language was written into the TikTok ban. Now, I haven't seen it written into the TikTok ban, but I know previous legislation was very vague, was very generalized, and could be interpreted by some bureaucratic Beckys in Washington, D.C. to include a VPN ban, which of course would allow your IP address to be known to the people that, of course, are using particular websites, and therefore could be used to censor those websites, those viewpoints, or that particular web traffic that the government found inconvenient. So,
I would just use a VPN to buy a VPN, so like you can't stop me. Oh, you want to ban that one? Well, then I get another VPN. I buy another VPN to get around that VPN. You can't stop me.
yeah, if my producer is watching right now, let's reach out to the VPN company we worked with before, and let's try to get a deal here. As of course, I like VPNs. We're using a VPN right now, and I definitely recommend people use VPNs and try to be careful with releasing their public information out there to the general public, as they could find out a lot of information through, of course, your internet address. But again, Elon Musk came out and even tweeted this a couple of hours ago, specifically yesterday, saying, coming shortly, X will publish everything demanded by the Supreme Court of Brazil and how these requests violate Brazilian law. This judge was brazen and repeatedly betrayed the Constitution and people of Brazil. He should resign or be impeached. Shame, and he tagged at Alexandre, the minister of the Supreme Court of Brazil, and then ended it with saying, shame again, a tweet that received 54.4 million views for the man on his own particular platform.
You know, I love that, because the last time that he shamed anyone was Don Lemon with his list of demands. So I'm kind of looking forward to what this list of demands is going to be.
No, it should be interesting because a lot of the times we never get a preview of what these governments wants because people just comply. People are just like, okay, I'll bend the knee, no problem. Just tell me where I can make more money. Just give us more kind of power, influence, and control. Google, especially Alphabet, and their partnership with the Pentagon definitely is a very interesting relationship that is concerning, especially when it comes to the kind of weaponization of information and speech that I think is being practiced currently in our current political discourse. But that's just my own kind of theory here. How do you guys see this unfolding? Because it doesn't look like Elon Musk is going to be bowing down. How do you think the government of Brazil, how do you think the Supreme Court will respond?
Well, I think that, first of all, the left here in the United States is basically going to be like, oh, well, Elon, he wants to propagate these far right accounts who tried to overthrow the government. And it's just, like I could just hear Morning Joe and Mika, say, is spouting this BS.
How dare you let the rabble speak? How dare you let them talk
Mike
to
Barnicle's
each other?
like, I mean, CNN and MSNBC. I mean, tonight, it's Monday, so I'm sure Rachel Maddow will have something to say about it. Of course, this is all very dangerous to not free speech, but just misinformation and disinformation. It's terrible. It's terrible for our democracy. Because what happens in Brazil, the same thing is going to be happening here.
But there's a lot of parallels. We were just talking about this before the start of the show. There's so many things that happen in Brazil that happen here in the United States.
Because a lot of these accounts that the Supreme Court in Brazil is trying to shut down were related to the storming of their Supreme Court in the Capitol, and after Bolsonaro lost, supposedly, and the same thing here. Same thing here with J6. They tried to. I mean, they put people on no-fly lists. They put people. They suspended accounts. I mean, it's a very scary time. Post Elon Twitter is definitely
a totally different day and age where you had to be careful with what you said because you had to think, oh crap, we are going to be taken down at any moment, at any time. As of course, my producer, Josh, just wrote me. He's awesome. He's incredible. Shouts out to him. He does a lot of great on the ground investigative work as well. He messaged me. He was like, yeah, I already did that yesterday. I contacted the VPN companies for you. So thank you, Josh. As of course, it's good to work with companies that do great things that are of actual use and service. And one of them is fieldofgreens.com, a company that we actually started to work with. They sent me some of their stuff. I was a little bit skeptical, and then I started using it, and I used a lot of it. And I really like this stuff. And they decided to officially partner with us and work with us. So shouts out to fieldofgreens.com. You get 15% off with promo code Luke. As of course, these are 5 servings of fruits and vegetables that you get in this little cup here that you could get with no pesticides, no GMOs, whole foods, frozen, turned into powders. If for any reason you are unsatisfied and you don't like this product, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee, 100% money-back guarantee, 15% off, free rush shipping, promo code Luke. As of course, this is pretty good stuff. It's not a supplement. It's actual whole fruits and vegetables, 15% off. Clint's been using the stuff, and he just had some, and he automatically had to go to potty.
Yeah, it made me have to poop.
Nice.
I'm just kidding. It was no. It's
Hey,
actually
it does have some. I think it has some fiber in here too.
It might, but that doesn't change the fact that I did not. Anyways,
You've been having a lot of potty breaks.
It's good. It's good stuff. Field of Greens. I am a fan. I just started it, so I can't say like definitively that it's going to change my life, but it might. It might.
I have some here on the table as well, and it's just something that I kind of sporadically take, especially if I'm working really hard. It's a lot easier than just going to Murder Burger and getting a cheeseburger. You could do that, or you could get some Field of Greens. Check them out. We're going to have the CEO on of this company, I think, next Monday with the quartering that are going to be calling in to thebestpoliticalshow.com, so it will be interesting to talk to them.
And it actually tastes good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
What
that
does
point.
it taste like?
Mine was pink lemonade. It really
Okay.
satiated my feminine side.
Clint demanded the pink stuff.
Yeah.
And Josie, we offered you some too, and you're like, no, I don't want no. And I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. We believe in voluntarism here, and we believe in taking care of yourself and your health, and I think it's more important than ever that you guys do that, especially as it looks like there's a full-on war to keep you fat and dumb. The best way to fight against that is to take care of yourself. I've been talking about my own kind of personal health journey for a long time, so it's awesome to have companies reach out to us. We test their products. I actually talked to a medical professional about this. He said it's some good, legitimate stuff. Check it out. Do your own homework. Do your own research. Check out fieldofgreens.com, promo code Luke, and support the businesses that support us. As, of course, the more that we do this, the more we grow and expand and do really cool, awesome things, as we only work with companies that we only use and that we only personally trust. As, of course, your need to be in proper health is going to be absolutely critically important, as there's a new movie coming out this Friday detailing a civil war here inside of the United States, which should put you on your toes and probably have you in tip-top shape, as CBS News has an article titled "An American Fighting Itself, Civil War, It's a Warning," detailing the movie, playing particular scenes from the trailer, as a lot of people are having a lot of different hopes and expectations from this particular film. It does look like it's going to be told through the story of two kind of journalists detailing a situation where the state of Florida and California go up against the Union and Washington, D.C. There's one particular scene in this movie where they describe how the federal government was launching airstrikes against its own citizens. Now, will this movie be woke, absolute crazy-filled propaganda that is meant to further divide and conquer agenda, or will it actually bring people together and give them a warning of just the atrocities that could happen when we start fighting each other? What do you guys think is going to happen?
I mean, having Florida and California be the ones that come together against the Union, that's kind of absurd to me. I could see Florida and Texas maybe.
Well,
but
they're two
Wait, are they
separatist,
coming
they're two
together, or-
separatist regions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're two separate regions, and again, the plot line is that there's civil war, civil strife, and then we have, I forgot the exact names that they were using. We could probably play a small clip of the trailer here to everyone. there's that. What do you guys think of the trailer? Do you guys think it will be utter woke propaganda, or do you think it actually will be a warning to the people not to fight each other?
Well, the first thing I'm noticing is the typography. I feel like it looks like it's targeting younger generation just by the colors and stuff. That was just my first observation from like a design perspective. And secondly, I really hope this thing tanks in the box office.
I kind of want to see it, to be quite honest with you. I want to see it right away to kind of understand it, because this has been something that a lot of online commentators have been kind of prophesizing and talking about for a very long time. Some people say in a very kind of obsessive way and in a ridiculous way. Some people say that it's not talked about enough. But I think with the way that the current state of the union is, this is something that we should worry about. And I think we should be doing everything in our power in order to try to prevent as much as we can. We have another trailer here that describes the kind of laying out of this entire situation.
States have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The three-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Usually, yes. I kind of agree with that sentiment here, as it looks like the Western forces are going to include the states of California and probably Oregon and Washington. And then, of course, we have the free state of Florida that ever so is going up against the federal government in many different ways. So
I think actually the movie could have value in that it'll show that this is like possible and that we ought to be working against going in that direction. But what I really hope, because my opinion is that when the U.S. dollar loses reserve currency status, we're probably going to end up in either hyperinflation or just absolutely severe, like world class severe depression. That it's probable that we'll end up seeing secession movements in this country anyways. So I would like it to be peaceful. So maybe if people watch it, they go like, well, this does kind of seem inevitable. We are really too divided, but like, let's not fight each other. How about that?
I know Josie probably is dying to talk about the 10th Amendment and the separation of the federal government and allowing the states to have rights to allow to rule however they choose to be to rule. But a lot of comments here are pretty interesting. One of the biggest comments during this trailer is, I'm just going to see this to find out how Texas and California ended up on the same side. And that's what a lot of people are asking themselves. Now, the point of view that this story is going to be told by two journalists is the kind of worrying aspect here, as of course journalists in our modern day society don't really have the backbone, don't really have the scruples to tell a story independently outside of the larger forces that are kind of literally giving them scripts and telling them to read it on air, or to ask the specific questions that they're only allowed to ask and not to deviate from.
Unless one of the journalists is modeled after Lara Logan or AJ, I'll say on here, that would be pretty cool. But my guess is that they're going to be like awful and probably ruin the movie. But we'll see. We'll see. I plan to see it opening night with Luke, date night. It's going to be so romantic. I can't wait. Civil War. Let's go.
Well, it's Alex.
I'm desperately trying to find a date, by the way, if anyone's listening.
It's Alex
just
Garland.
Just to make sure someone that Clint doesn't sit next to me. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's Alex Garland who did Ex Machina.
Oh, that's a great movie.
And wrote 28 Days Later.
Oh, so this movie's gonna rock.
So he does like apocalyptic kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm holding off on guessing on what this movie's going to be. Remember the movie The Hunt?
Yes.
How it was like, oh, it's like liberals hunting deplorables in the woods, and that's not really what it was. So I'm gonna hold off on any kind of guesswork or.
I have a feeling that partisans, even after watching it, will be like it offends them just in a primordial fashion. But like anybody who's sane is probably going to be like, oh, that was actually, it took shots at both sides. It was probably I think it could be even handed and really creative. We'll see. TBD.
Someone wrote one of the most upvoted comments in response to this trailer is plot twist. The experience in IMAX spring 2024 means in real life. I hope not.
Goodness gracious.
I really hope it doesn't.
I mean, that is the exact Summer of Love ETA. It would be.
Someone else wrote with nearly 5,000 upvotes, I want to see this in the theater before it comes to the streets. As, of course, the last presidential election was met with a lot of violence, was met with mostly peaceful but fiery violence all throughout the United States that, of course, destroyed a lot of communities, took a lot of lives, and was promoted by the corporate media as some kind of larger Black Lives Matter kind of achievement, when in all actuality it wasn't. It was the destruction of communities, it was people fighting each other, and it was a larger kind of racial divide that was pushed in this country that was really unhealthy for its discourse, really unhealthy for society, as it seems like almost everything is becoming politicized. It does seem like the United States as an empire, it's kind of coming to its end of days. It does seem like things aren't really looking up, as this election, the repeat of the last presidential election, is going to have a lot of people emotionally invested in everything that's happening here. We could only hope people stay calm. We could only hope cooler minds prevail. We can only hope people do not take violent actions.
Right.
But freaking hell, with the way that things are going, how else do you not kind of see this kind of unfolding in a tumultuous way?
Well, if you're going to be in that movie setting, in the Civil War movie setting, I'd much rather be in Florida than California, especially,
Heck yeah.
you know, when I moved here, the first thing I did was go shopping. Let's.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Not the restrictions. I mean, in this movie world, it's like, okay, so like two completely different realities, unless suddenly California changed their laws and then everybody stocked up. But it's going to be, I guess I'll see it. I probably won't be running to the movie theaters to see it.
Well, you're invited. Luke and I, we would love to make it a 3-way date. Let's do this.
No, stop it immediately. Inappropriate. Josie, please save us. Are you coming?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll come. I'll be your
chaperone.
Your chaperone.
Well, okay. What was the last movie, Luke? What was the last movie you saw in the theaters?
Dunes 2 in 4DX.
Okay.
Which was pretty freaking incredible and pretty awesome. And I really absolutely enjoyed.
How about you two?
I can't even remember what the last one. I saw Dune, the original, in theaters. I don't know about 2.
I saw it with Tim. He literally walked out at like an hour, 30 minutes into the movie. He like literally walked out. I was like, I hate this. I was like,
that's such a Tim thing.
I paid for the movie. I'm staying. I'm watching this. And I found it okay, but it set up a lot of the bigger kind of plot points that came out in the second part of the movie.
Why did he hate it?
He really didn't like it. And
did he say why? Just too slow, too woke? What? Because it wasn't woke, I don't think.
No, I don't think it was.
I think it was slow.
It was.
It's
slow.
a long movie.
Yeah, it's slow for sure, but I enjoyed it.
I
got better things to do.
Yeah. There is something about just having your subconscious mind opened up to the kind of subliminal propaganda that is usually out there. And when you're in a theater and all the lights are off, and 4DX, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but they like literally shake you up, and there's water being flown at you and wind.
That is not.
And I absolutely enjoyed it because there is a certain like freeing aspect of just letting go and then just enjoying a form of entertainment. And this is why there's so much propaganda. This is why there's so much kind of subliminal subtext. There's so much DEI kind of funding, Pentagon funding, government involvement, intelligence agency involvement when it comes to modern entertainment, because that's the perfect way to inject a lot of these kind of larger psyops and ideas into your head that I think are a form of predictive programming. Some people would say that's a conspiracy, but I think it's pretty true, especially when you look at the larger work of a lot of these intel agencies and a lot of the ideas that they plant and a lot of these kind of larger social divides that are being pushed upon us in modern day entertainment, in commercials and TV shows and movies. The racial divide, it's pretty clear the agenda that they're trying to push on you subliminally in all these kind of forms of entertainment that are really forms of propaganda.
It's not even like really well hidden. I think
not anymore. It used to be very like subliminal. Now it's very like overt, beat you over the head to the point where it's like, I just don't enjoy this. I don't want to watch this because it's so overt.
Yeah, no, I don't mean in the content. You're right; it has become more overt. But I mean, they don't even hide their influence. They will have open relationships with advisors with the CIA. Like I remember Zero Dark 30. They had advisors from the CIA that were talking to them about the black sites and like to make it reasonable, but without violating any sort of confidentiality. It's like they work hand in hand.
And Zero Dark 30, I believe, was the film that was trying to justify the Bush's administration use of torture in like the most extreme way. There's a nuclear bomb that's about to explode in New York City. We have to torture this guy, as there was a whole debate on torture and how unethical it was for the United States to conduct it.
And they were being advised by the CIA. And then people are like, that's a coincidence? Like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, all the stuff you see on modern kind of entertainment sadly has been weaponized in such a way where very few movies don't have a lot of propaganda in it. Doom had a little bit of propaganda in it. They definitely changed the original story to give his side chick more of a kind of prominent role that she didn't have in the books there. But there was also a lot of different stuff that was pretty interesting. But again, I don't know about you guys, but now when I watch entertainment, it's very hard to like let loose and just enjoy it.
My frustration is that like Daily Wire is and other conservative outlets are coming out and trying to create content to compete with them. But it's like, I don't want you to make it the other direction either. I don't want you to be like forcing me to question pro-life policy while I'm watching.
Lady Ballers was so unwatchable.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
But this is what I'm talking about.
Unwatchable.
It's like I honestly think that what most normal people want is just a movie that if it has a message at all, it's kind of outside of the political sphere. Like I go to the movies because I want to disconnect. I don't go there because I want to be propagandized. And it feels like everyone feels as if they're compelled to propagandize. And if like the Daily Wires of the world are compelled to counter propaganda you, it's like, I don't want that either.
And go on to complete opposite, like, just this movie. If they think that something's woke, we're going to be so anti-woke that it's going to drive you crazy, you know, and that's their, I'm not into that at all.
Steph, get ready to read these super chats here, starting off with this one. As someone in the YouTube comment section wrote that this is predictive demoralization. Yes, absolutely. Great new term that was created by YouTube user Steph.
We got Lameboy63 saying, when do we get Clint in a calendar in lingerie?
Well, yeah, Clint.
What?
Lane boy.
It's coming soon. I've been working on it for the past few months. Ever since Josie went viral with that controversy, I'm creating 12 months of Clint in lingerie. So stay tuned.
I mean, we should really do something weird for December.
I really don't want to do that, just for the record.
We could get Ian on it. We could get Toby Turner on it. We could get a lot of cool people to do
we
something like really cringy, weird-ish.
Do the men of YouTube.
One of you holding a pie in your kitchen, please.
With a cross on the wall, so everyone goes, demonic.
Yes.
But you're not looking for a direct response to the calendar. You're not looking for a parody.
No, this is our calendar.
Okay.
Clint's going to take it too far, and he's going to be Dylan Mulvaney in real life. We got another one here. Steph, do you want to read this one?
EG says, is the Beanie Man just pandering to MAGA Republicans, or do you think he believes that Trump is the Messiah?
Interesting question. I think Tim really does like Donald Trump, legitimately, and I don't think he's pandering. He really does like him. He really does like his policies, and he's willing to stand up for him and argue for him.
Yes.
And that's,
Wasn't Sage says, yo, Andrew, when are you coming back to Philly?
Oh, I went to Philly a few years ago for an Overwatch championship, a dead game now. But I haven't been to. I don't have plans to come back to Philly soon. But you never know. Maybe get rid of your mayor and your and your like city council and make Philadelphia great again.
What is the end game now?
We'll talk about
Divers too.
We'll talk about that later. Steph, read this one.
Myth-informed Mike says, don't ban TikTok, delete it. Do you guys think Joe Rogan will have Destiny on now after he roasted him? Lol, happy face.
I don't think so. And then we have another one here by Bill Dozer 74. Bill Dozer. Wait. Let's save Bill Dozer for the last one. OG 49. Read that one, Steph. I already said his name. Read
Ouija 49.
No, I already said that. Just say his. What? Yeah. Go ahead.
Ouija49 says, trying to reduce time for you still, Clint. Between my math and Bill's, I'm putting you at 9 hours and 45 minutes. Sorry, Bill is just better at coming up with bigger numbers. Hashtag save the taint.
In response to Bill Dozer, who said this, and read it slow and make sure you read all the words here with full context and emotion.
Bill Dozer 74. So, Clintina said, Field of Greens satiated the feminine side. Isn't that the only side? Only 8.2K followers until the 10-hour taint tasing.
Yes, I can't find my taser. It's somewhere here. Clint has volunteered to be tasered for 10 hours when we reach 100,000 subscribers on Rumble. We are almost there.
Follow the channel, y'all. Tase that taint.
We're very close, as we're going to be now continuing the conversation on a free speech platform, that of course being Rumble. Rumble.com is the place to go to have this conversation continued, as of course we will be going off this particular platform and predominantly continuing the conversation on Rumble.com. We are right now on the front page of Rumble.com. You scroll, you don't even need to scroll anymore. They got rid of Barstool Sports. They put it all the way down there. Good. As of course, just go to Rumble.com and we are right here for everyone to see us live right now, as we will be going off of this platform and many others and continuing the conversation there, talking about Ben Shapiro, Benjamin Netanyahu, his latest announcement there, and all the other stuff that we cannot talk about here on YouTube. Andrew, before we go, where can people find you really quick?
You can find me at Don't Walk Run on YouTube and on Twitter, and Don't Walk Run Productions on Instagram, but I don't really post there. But follow me there anyway. So that's it.
Josie.
You can find me at TRHL Official on X, or you can go to timcast.com and become a subscriber and help support our work.
At Liberty Lock Pod on X, Clint Russell's the name. Running for Vice President of the United States from the Libertarian Party. I will be in Corpus Christi, Texas this weekend, and I will be in Maryland the following weekend. So if you guys are local to either of those places, just search for the state name and LP convention, and it'll pop up, and get a ticket and come say hi. It'll be fun.
Steph, we are change.
All right, we're going to be going